So, there's a few behaviours and skills that will really help you at the council table. The first one that I believe is really important is that ability to be a strategic thinker. One of the challenges you'll find is that you'll be dealing with a whole lot of different issues and opportunities, and you'll be dealing with them in stages and in various compartments. But there's a requirement for you to keep in mind the big picture. How do all of these things connect, and how do all of these things lead to the greater outcomes that we're after as a community? So that strategic thinking is really important. You're not only thinking about the here and now, you're thinking about the impacts of your decisions for future generations. The other point I'd raise is the importance of being able to connect and listen to people. Your community, your colleagues at the council table, staff, officials that are presenting information and different views to you. That ability to connect is hugely important, because essentially you're there as a representative and an advocate for your communities. So really important that you're authentically able to connect, to listen, to empathise with the views of community members. And then alongside that is the ability to articulate those views. That because you're a representative, ideally you want to be able to articulate the views of your community really well and get those arguments across. Another aspect that I think is really important at the council table is your own confidence. You're in an environment where you need to put your views forward. You need to have that confidence to say what you believe in, and at times that could be contrary to the popular view or to the majority consensus. But again, you're there to represent your community and the diversity of your community, and you don't have to agree with everybody else all of the time. But that personal confidence, that ability to share your view, not be afraid to share your view, but also to be able to do that with respect. To be able to respect other people's views and to work with diverse views to come together at a point that has a solution that works for all. So personally, I believe it's really important that we have diversity at the council table. Our councils need to reflect our communities, and we all know that our communities are diverse. We're made up of many different people, many different cultures, and we face many different issues and opportunities depending on where you are in Aotearoa. So I'm a big supporter of bringing that diversity to the table, and it's one of the reasons that I chose to become a councillor, is bringing the view of Māori to the table. That's been my life, growing up in a Māori world. And really want to ensure that our values, our aspirations are part of the fabric of local government decision making throughout our country. But I believe it's important that not only Māori views are there, that the whole makeup of our community are there. So I'm a very staunch supporter of young people being at the council table. Unfortunately, I think historically we haven't had that type of representation as well as it could be in New Zealand. But I have seen in the last decade a real change in the profile of and the makeup of councillors at a table. And personally, I think that's really important in terms of making good decisions for our communities and for our country, because the issues that we face are very complex, and we need those diverse views. We also know that some of the ways that we've operated in the past are not serving us and not getting the outcomes that we want, and that's largely because our thinking and the people we've had at the table have come very much from the same kind of worldview. So I really want to encourage people out there, regardless of what your background is, what your ethnicity is, have confidence and realise the value in your particular view of the world. That all helps us to better understand the issues that we're facing, to understand each other, and ultimately, how well we do is how well we work together. So that diversity is hugely important for the council table.
Kia ora. I'm Jill Callagaris, the LGNZ Professional Development Manager. My team and I are here to support all elected members to be the best they can be, so they can make informed, strategic and effective decisions for the communities they represent. Just like you, your communities want competent people on their council, making decisions on their behalf. So we've talked with councils and their communities, asking them what things elected members need to be good at. You'll have heard from others in this video about the need to be a strategic thinker who is always thinking about both the now and the future. Others have told you about the need to be able to really talk to and listen to your communities, be culturally aware of and able to interact with all your community groups. I bet most of you are already doing this stuff, so you only need to learn how to use these skills within a council environment. If elected, you'll need to get up to speed with things like your council's asset management plans, local infrastructure, and how it all gets paid for. You'll also need to understand how the various acts, such as the Local Government Act and the Resource Management Act, guides what you will do and how council meetings work. But remember, your own council staff and the LGNZ team are right here to help. Together we will support your learning to ensure that you will soon be making the right sort of decisions for those you've chosen to serve.
So being a councillor has been a hugely rewarding experience for me in terms of my own personal and professional development. The first thing I'd say is you don't get into the space unless you're passionate, because it's not always easy. It can be very challenging, but there are some real cool opportunities in terms of your own growth. So for me, it's been really useful in having a better understanding, a more in-depth understanding of the environmental issues and challenges that we're faced within the Behaviours region. The access to information, a wide range of information, a lot of technical information has been hugely useful for me, not only in terms of my role as a councillor, but in the other roles that I have within the community and within my own iwi, to be able to connect the dots between various things that are happening within our region. And without being a councillor and having access to that information, being able to interrogate that information, I wouldn't be able to see some of the connections and see some of the opportunities within our region, and in particular the importance of how we work together within a region, not just local government but the various stakeholders, groups within our communities that make up who we are as a community. So personally it's been very rewarding, not only from a learning perspective but also in terms of my networks, being exposed to more professional governors around our region, and that's led to other opportunities for me. So I just want to make that point for anyone considering standing for council. There is some great growth opportunities.
Another being, and they are a being that is only all you can feel is loved one. And later, you stop to make